Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your insights and sources and explore them together. Today, we're embarking on a captivating journey. We're looking into a text focused on meditation, specifically in praise of Lord Rama's divine form. It's a beautiful piece of writing, very evocative, and it seems to offer a detailed guide on how to visualize and, connect with the divine presence.
That's exactly right. And our mission for this deep dive really is to unpack this rich tapestry of descriptions we find in the text. We want to understand not just the imagery itself, but maybe uncover what each detail conveys about Lord Rama's nature, his significance for a devotee.
And the power within these instructions, right?
The transformative power. It's about gaining a deeper appreciation for focused devotion as it's laid out here.
Okay, great. Let's really dig into this then, because it feels like more than just description. It's an invitation to practice. It starts with this immediate, quite powerful visual impact. It says, look at me, O Lord, with lotus-like eyes, and describes him as swarthy of hue like the blue lotus, or Hari. For those maybe less familiar, Hari is a name for Vishnu, emphasizing that preserver aspect. What jumps out at you about these opening lines?
Well, what's immediately striking is how the visual seems to instantly transmit an emotional, even spiritual impact. It's almost like getting solace downloaded directly.
How so?
The text says it right there. You rid the devotee of sorrow by your gracious look. So these lotus-like eyes, they're not just pretty, aesthetically speaking.
No.
They're imbued with this profound active power, the ability to actually alleviate suffering through the gaze.
Wow.
And that blue lotus hue, described as swarthy, it's not just setting a color, it evokes, deep serenity, maybe cosmic vastness. A very specific kind of divine beauty meant to resonate deeply.
A specific kind of beauty.
Exactly. And it connects to that idea later in the text about the Lord being like a bee, drinking in the nectarian love of the lotus-like heart of Lord Shiva.
Okay, interesting link.
Yeah, it intertwines the visual with this intricate spiritual relationship, suggesting a profound absorption of love even within the divine form itself. So it's not just an object for meditation, but a source of absorbed reciprocal love.
That's a powerful idea, the visual leading directly to an experience of solace and this reciprocal love. So if visualizing these features is meant to be transformative, how does the text suggest this connection actually works? Is it just the image? Or is there more to it, like intent or surrender?
That's a really good question. The text implies it's definitely more than just passive looking.
Right.
The instruction itself, look at me, it's active. It's an imperative to engage. The transformation seems to happen because the meditator isn't just seeing with, let's say, physical eyes, but with the eye of devotion, of bhakti.
Oh, okay.
The intention is to surrender to that gracious gaze. When it says the Lord rids the devotee of sorrow, it suggests a flow, maybe a transfer of divine energy of grace.
So it's an act of reception.
Exactly. You're opening yourself to receive that power. The vivid details help anchor the mind, sure, but the real current underneath is the devotee's heartfelt turning towards the divine. That creates the conduit for grace.
Okay, I see. So we have this incredible solace, this grace through the gaze, but then the text, it shifts gears pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
We move from this benevolent figure to a really formidable protector. It describes Lord Rama as one who crushes the might of the demon hosts.
Specific ones, too.
Yeah, it names adversaries like Kar, Dushan, and Virad, powerful figures Rama defeated. And, of course, it calls him an enemy of the demon king Ravana, the main antagonist of the whole Ramayana epic. How does the text handle showing this immense strength alongside the solace? What's the significance of putting those aspects so close together for someone meditating?
Well, I think that juxtaposition is actually quite profound. It shows it's not just about, individual heroic acts.
Right, not just fighting monsters.
No, it's about restoring cosmic order, Dharma. The text says, you relieve the burden of the earth by the enormous strength of your arm.
Relieve the burden of the earth. What does that really mean?
That's the key question, isn't it? It suggests that evil, injustice, chaos, they aren't just moral issues. They're like a literal weight, a burden affecting existence itself. And divine power, Rama's power here, actively lifts that burden. It's a very active kind of divinity, not passive, decisively shaping the world.
So the contrast shows that the compassionate being is also the one strong enough to protect righteousness.
Precisely. One necessitates the other, in a way.
That active role is definitely clear. But I wonder, does the text hint at maybe more subtle ways he lifts this burden? Or is it all about, brute strength against demons? Are there other layers to this protection?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point. While crushing demon hosts is highlighted, the burden can also mean collective suffering, ignorance, negativity.
Ah, okay. The inner burdens, too.
Exactly. So physical intervention is part of it, yes, but protection extends to the spiritual and moral realms. The text stresses he delights the sages and saints and wipes out sins.
Right.
And acts as a mass of fresh clouds for the crop in the form of the Brahmins, the gods on this earth.
That's beautiful imagery.
Isn't it? Wiping out sins, delighting sages, that's not a battle scene. It's cleansing, purification.
And the fresh clouds.
That analogy suggests his presence, his power is vital, life-giving, like rain for the spiritual practitioners, the crop of Brahmins. It sustains them against spiritual drought, helps them flourish and uphold Dharma themselves.
So it's a kind of divine care that nourishes inner growth.
Yes. It eliminates subtle obstacles, negativity. It's protection that goes way beyond the battlefield.
That image, the fresh clouds, you can almost feel the relief, like a parched soul getting sustenance. It's very visceral. So moving beyond that immense power, the text really dives deep into his compassion, doesn't it?
It does. It's pervasive.
He is the refuge of the forlorn and a braid-eater of the humble. That sounds like a deep commitment to the vulnerable.
And bliss personified, the noblest of kings. It paints a very complete picture of a divine leader.
How does this create that holistic view? Power, but also benevolence and joy.
Well, it presents this ideal of divinity not just strong, but deeply empathetic, just, and guided by a profound moral compass. He's full of compassion, not just as a trait, but his very essence. And importantly, he crushes false pride.
So benevolence with wisdom.
Exactly, it corrects arrogance. And calling him perfect in every way, O ornament of Ayodhya. That speaks to this absolute moral authority. He embodies ideal virtues.
The benchmark for righteousness.
Right, making him a moon to the lily-like race of Dasharatha. Just as the moon illuminates Rama, brings glory, serenity, nobility to his lineage, and by extension to all who follow him.
So his perfection isn't just skill, it's moral integrity.
Yes, inherent moral and spiritual integrity. That sets the standard.
That phrase, ornament of Ayodhya, it really sums it up. His qualities define his kingship, make him a jewel for the whole kingdom. How does this picture of kingship resonate with, say, broader ideals of leadership in the tradition? What might that mean for a devotee?
Well, this portrayal really embodies the concept of Ramaraja.
The ideal kingdom.
Yes, an idealized fiat of righteous, just rule, where power is always guided by justice, compassion, welfare for all, not ego or personal gain. For a devotee, it implies the divine isn't distant. It's invested in the moral flourishing of the world. It sets an aspiration. True devotion isn't just about personal salvation, maybe, but about aligning with these virtues, contributing to a more righteous world.
A blueprint for living, really, both spiritual and ethical.
The very inspiring one, yes.
Okay, so we've layered all these aspects of his form and actions. Now the text shifts again to the enduring legacy, the power beyond the physical form or specific deeds.
The lasting impact.
It says, your bright glory is known to the Purans, Vedas, and Tantras. These are the foundational sacred texts, right? Ancient lore, wisdom, ritual.
That's right, across the spectrum of Scripture.
And is sung by gods, sages, and the assemblages of saints. This isn't just temporary fame. It's ancient, pervasive, universally acknowledged, woven into the tradition.
It shows his influence transcends time and space. But what's truly fascinating here, I think, is the emphasis on the power of his name.
Ah, yes.
An essence you can invoke directly. Your name wipes out the impurities of this sinful age and curbs the feeling of mayam.
Mayam, that sense of mind, the ego's possessiveness.
Exactly, that fundamental impurity. And this raises that key question. How can a name, just a sound, hold such transformative power?
Yeah, how?
It suggests the name isn't just a label. It's a direct manifestation of his divine essence, a spiritual key.
A key that can purify the soul and liberate it from ego.
That's the idea.
Can you elaborate a bit more on the how of that? How does just chanting or remembering the name actually do that? Purify, curb the ego.
Think of it like a seed containing the blueprint for the whole tree.
Okay.
Chanting or remembering the name isn't just saying words, it's invoking the very presence and power of Rama. In this tradition, the name is considered non-different from the divine itself.
So focusing on the name connects you directly to everything we've discussed.
Exactly. His gaze, his strength, his virtues. It kind of bypasses the need for maybe complex rituals or deep philosophy. It's very accessible, very potent.
Wow.
The vibration of the name itself, uttered with devotion, is believed to carry the potency of his entire being and actions. It purifies the mind, gently detaches it from that Miriam, that self-centeredness that causes suffering.
A direct pathway.
A direct personal pathway to the divine.
Yes. And then the text wraps up with this deeply personal plea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Protect this humble devotee, O Lord of Tulasidåsa. Tulasidåsa being the poet saint who actually composed this, adds such an intimate touch.
It really does.
It brings everything, the power, the compassion, the glory, right back to that personal connection, that trust placed in the divine form in the name.
It frames the whole meditation as a personal act of devotion. Tulasidåsa isn't just describing. He's participating, modeling how to approach the divine.
A model for bhakti.
Yes, it perfectly encapsulates bhakti. The goal isn't just understanding, but that heartfelt connection, that surrender to divine protection and grace.
What an incredibly rich, deep dive this has been into in praise of Lord Rama's divine form.
It really covers so much ground.
Yeah, we've seen how it crafts this meditation, moving from visual beauty and solace to divine strength against evil, then profound compassion and kingship.
Yes.
And finally, that enduring, purifying power of the name itself. It really feels like a shortcut to understanding the many facets of this devotion.
I agree. It's more than just a description. It's a guide for engaging on multiple levels: sensory, active, emotional, spiritual. A powerful reminder of how intricate and intentional these meditative practices can be, offering a whole pathway to connection and purification.
So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this: how might really intensely visualizing these detailed, multifaceted descriptions, instead of just thinking about abstract concepts like compassion or power, how might that actually shape your understanding of those qualities and of devotion itself?
That's a great takeaway question.
What new dimensions might it open up in your own reflections, maybe even your own practice?
We've talked a bit about how significant it is, really focused on something quite unique. It's the procedure of reciting the Råmacaritamånasa. It's not just, well, reading the words on the page. There's this rich, pretty intricate ritual that comes before and even during the recitation. It changes the whole experience, really.
Exactly. So our mission is to walk through this procedure step by step. It's all based directly on the sources you've shared with us. And it gives us this incredible look into the devotion, the reverence, the whole spiritual preparation involved before you even engage with the story. Get ready for some eye-opening details. Okay, so thinking about someone starting this recitation, what's the very first thing they need to do, spiritually speaking, I mean, before even opening the book?
Right, so the procedure is very clear on this. Before you even start reading, you must first invoke and worship certain key figures. It begins with the author himself, Gosvåmi Tulasidåsa, acknowledging his role.
Makes sense.
Then you move to the ancient sage Vålmiki, the composer of the original Ramayana.
Ah, okay. The lineage.
Precisely. After Vålmiki comes Lord Shiva, often called the spouse of Gauri, who has a deep connection to this text. And finally, Shri Hanumån, the absolute embodiment of devotion. Only after honoring these guides do you proceed to the main figures.
And those central figures would be
the divine couple, Sītā and Rāma, naturally. And alongside them, Sri Rama's three divine brothers, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. Including them right at the start really emphasizes that the whole story centers on them. It's about creating this complete, deeply respectful gathering in your mind, inviting the story's essence before you even read a word.
Wow. Okay, so you've invoked the author, the sages, the deities, the main characters. What happens next? You mentioned a kind of welcoming act.
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting. The next step is offering what's called the 16-fold worship. It's known as Shodashopachara. And it's not just about, being a good host. It's a profound spiritual practice, like enacting Thiti Devo Bhava, the guest, is God.
Ah, I see.
Each of these 16 steps, these offerings, are symbolic acts. They help purify the devotee's mind, their body, preparing them to receive that divine presence. It basically transforms the space into a sacred area.
16 steps. That's quite comprehensive. Can you maybe highlight a few of the really key ones for us? What makes them so significant here?
Absolutely. There are 16, but some really set the tone. For instance, Pogya. That's offering water to wash the feet. It's a sign of deep respect, purifying the guest as they enter the sacred space you've prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have vastra and abhushana, clothing and ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
These are symbolic, like you're dressing the divine figures in your mind's eye, making their presence more vivid, more glorious.
Right.
Things like ganda, the sandal paste, and pushpa, the flowers. They engage the senses. They create this beautiful, auspicious atmosphere. They represent purity, devotion.
Okay.
And deepa, the light of the lamp, that's a really important one. It symbolizes illumination, chasing away ignorance, which is pretty essential if you want to grasp the wisdom in the Ramcharitmanas, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Light against darkness.
Exactly. And finally, something like Naidya, the food offerings. It's like you're nourishing the divine, but it's also this act of love, of sustenance, flowing both ways. It's a complete engagement, really, inviting the divine into your inner world and your outer space.
You know, thinking about all this, it really changes how you'd approach the text, doesn't it? It's so much more than just picking up a book. It becomes this act of total reverence, a devotional experience in itself.
It truly does. And it doesn't stop there. After that 16-fold worship, the Shodashopachara, you then recite specific invocations. These aimfully invite each of those revered figures we mentioned earlier to take a designated seat within the sacred space you've created.
Oh, wow. So it's like assigning places.
Exactly. It shows this incredible attention to detail, a kind of sacred geography within the ritual itself.
That is fascinating. Can you give us some examples? Where are they invited to sit? I'm trying to picture this sacred assembly being set up.
Sure. It's remarkably precise, actually, using cardinal directions. So Gosvåmi Tulasidåsa, the author, he's invited to the southwest. That direction's often linked with wisdom, with spiritual teachers, acknowledging his place in the lineage.
Okay. Southwest for Tulasidåsa.
Then Saj Vålmiki, who gives blessings, he's asked to sit in the northeast. That's associated with auspicious beginnings, spiritual purity. Honoring him as the original source.
Northeast for Vålmiki, got it.
Lord Shiva takes the southeast. That's often connected with, fire, transformative energy.
Right.
Then the brothers, Lakshmana and his consort Urmilo, are invited to the southern quarter.
Oh, okay.
Shatrughna with Srutakirti are in the western quarter.
What?
Bharata with his consort Mandavi occupy the northern quarter.
North.
And finally, Hanumån, the very mine of compassion and devotion, he's invited to the eastern quarter. East, the direction of sunrise, new beginnings. Reflects his role perfectly, bringing hope and strength.
That's incredibly specific. It really is like setting up a living mandala, isn't it? Each position having its own energy, its own blessing for the person doing the recitation.
Precisely. A living mandala is a great way to put it. And after all these individual invitations, then the main focus shifts. The principal deity, Shri Rama, accompanied by his consort, Sītā, is worshipped with full ceremony. The person reading holds flowers in their hands, palms together, and meditates on the supreme deity using a very specific verse.
Ah, a meditation verse. That sounds like a really potent moment, a point of deep connection. What does the verse say? What kind of feeling or image is it meant to evoke?
It's really designed for deep contemplation, for spiritual immersion. It goes something like this. I ever adore Sri Rama, whose charming eyes resemble the petals of a red lotus, who is clad in yellow raiments and has a dark brown form endowed with a pair of arms, who has a cheerful countenance, is accompanied by Sri Sītā.
Beautiful imagery.
And is an ocean of nectar in the form of mercy, who is waited upon even by Vishnu, Shiva, and others, and is meditated upon along with his three brothers and other favorite attendants, like Hanumån, and who grants the desire of his devotees. It's just incredibly rich, isn't it? It paints this full picture of the divine, inviting the devotee into a really deep, visual, emotional connection.
That truly does create a powerful image, a full immersion. So after that focused meditation, is there another specific invitation, like for Rama to actually take his seat?
Yes, exactly. There's a specific line, "Occupy, O Rama, this bejeweled seat of gold offered by me and spread over with an exquisite covering."
Mm-hmm.
And then, importantly, the deity is worshipped again, confirming that reverence, that acceptance of the invitation, using the full 16-fold equipage once more.
So Shodashopachara happens again, just for Rama and Sītā.
Yes, it really underscores the depth of the respect and devotion being offered to the central figures.
This whole detailed ritual, it just speaks volumes about the reverence for the Ramcharitmanas. It makes me wonder, though, how does knowing the spiritual essence of the text, like who the seers were, the main deity, its seed idea, how does that understanding actually deepen the meaning of these rituals we've just walked through?
That's a really excellent question, because the essence absolutely gives meaning to the procedure. You see, the text identifies several seers, these profound figures who saw or perceived its essence.
Yeah.
We're talking Lord Shiva, the sages Kokapusandi and Yajnavalkya, and of course, Gosvåmi Tulasidåsa himself. This kind of multi-layered tradition of revelation, it suggests the story is timeless, eternal almost, perceived across the different ages, different realms, knowing that lineage just deepens the respect for the wisdom in the text, and by extension, for the ritual itself.
Right. Understanding its origins adds weight. And the main deity, the ultimate focus.
That's definitively Shri Rama united with his consort, Sītā. The text emphasizes their inseparable nature, their joint importance. That's why they're invoked and worshipped together throughout the procedure we've discussed. They are the divine focus.
Okay, united. And what about this idea of a seed? What's the seed of the scripture, and how does that connect to the ritual practice?
The name Rama, just the name itself, is identified as the seed.
Just the name? Wow.
Yes. It suggests that all the power, the essence, the whole narrative, it's encapsulated right there, even in just saying the name. So every time Rama is mentioned during the ritual, every invocation, you're tapping into that fundamental, potent source of the scripture's energy.
That's powerful. And the Shakti, the driving force, the energy behind it all, what's its purpose for the devotee?
The Shakti is identified as devotion, bhakti. And it's specifically described as the energy that cures the disease of transmigration.
Cures the disease of transmigration, so liberation.
Essentially, yes. It's the spiritual energy that drives the entire practice. The goal is liberation from the cycle of birth and death, achieved through this devoted engagement with the text and its accompanying rituals. The whole procedure is really an act of cultivating and expressing that very devotion.
So if devotion is the Shakti, the energy, what's the ultimate goal, the object of doing all this? Why go through such meticulous preparation, all the spiritual effort for the reading?
Well, the stated object is incredibly transformative. It's to ward off all evils and accomplish all one's desires through the propitiation of Sitā and Rāma.
Ah, so it's both protective and wish-fulfilling.
Exactly. It directly links the ritual practice to tangible benefits, protection from negativity, and also spiritual well-being, the accomplishment of heartfelt desires. And all of it stems from nurturing that deep devotional connection with Sitā and Rāma.
Okay, so we've gone through this incredibly detailed process. The invocations, the 16-fold worship, the seating, the meditation, understanding the core essence. Are there any final ritual acts? Anything done right before, perhaps, the actual reading of the first lines of the scripture begins?
Yes, there are a few concluding acts. They sort of bring the preparatory phase to a formal close and seal that spiritual engagement you've built up. First, water should be sipped 3 times. And each sip is accompanied by reciting a specific mantra.
3 sips, 3 mantras. What are they and why at this point?
The mantras are recited one after the other. Shri Rama, then Shri Ramcharitmanas, and finally Shri Ramcharitmanas. They're basically final invocations, salutations to Sitā and Rāma, making sure their divine presence is fully acknowledged right before you dive into their story.
And anything else?
Yes. Additionally, a pranayama should be performed. That's a breath control exercise.
Right, pranayama.
And this is done while reciting the bija mantra, which is a very potent core seed-syllable mantra sacred to Sitā and Rāma. This last step signifies this final integration of mind, breath, and devotion. It ensures the devotee is entering the reading itself in a truly focused, centered, and purified state.
Wow. We have certainly covered a lot today. It feels like we've been on quite the spiritual journey ourselves. From those initial invocations of the sages and deities, through that incredibly detailed 16-fold worship, the specific seating arrangements, that profound meditation on Rama, and even understanding the scripture's deep essence, we've really unpacked the procedure of reciting the Ramcharitmanas.
It's absolutely clear, isn't it? Approaching this sacred text according to this tradition is anything but casual. It's a complete spiritual practice. It's designed to build reverence, focus, and that deep, deep connection to the divine. It's aiming not just for information, but for genuine transformation.
You know, diving into this procedure today, it really highlights the depth of devotion involved. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does this kind of meticulous spiritual engagement change the relationship between the person reading and the text itself? And maybe, what could that imply for how we approach things that matter deeply to us in any part of our lives? Something to think about.
It's been a real pleasure unpacking these details with you and everyone listening. The layers of meaning in these practices are just, well, profound.
And believe it or not, we are just getting started on the text itself. We really hope you'll join us for our very next deep dive. We'll finally begin the main reading of the first descent. That's the Balkan of the Ramcharitmanas. We honestly can't wait to share it with you. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.